Number 8, The Pride.
The Pride. Now, this is a little different from the other characters on the list because this is actually a group of supervillains, and yes, I know people are probably going to be wondering why, especially since they're so new, and they really weren't in the Runaways comics for very long, but they're still nevertheless very important in the Runaways. Now, the Pride consists of several families that all had different backgrounds. One family is from outer space and they're aliens. Another family, they are evil mutants. Another family is a group of evil scientists. Another family is a group of time travelers. Another family is a bunch of dark witches. And another family is more or less your typical gangster thugs. They were brought together by these ancient spirits that said that they wanted to come back, and if the Pride helped them, they would allow them to live. The Pride thought about this and then asked, well, instead of us, can we substitute our children? And they said, fair enough, but only a select few of your children can go into this paradise we're going to create once we destroy the world. And so the Pride then thought of, well, we're going to try to betray each other and get the other. In which the spirit said, if you do that, we won't let any of your children in. You have to appease us through rituals and whatnot. So they start doing dark rituals and things like that to appease these dark forces. And, well, they control the West Coast. I mean, they're essentially the West Coast equivalent of the Kingpin. And no, the Kingpin's not really going to make it on this list because the Kingpin isn't what I would call necessarily evil. He's more or less wants to control crime and employs other people. He's more of a person that kind of uses everyone else to do his bidding. So yeah, in any case, the Pride is interesting because they actually do get their hands dirty, but they're so well connected they really cover everything up. So that's the Pride.
Number 7, Ultron.
Ultron. This is an interesting villain. Ultron, again, is kind of like Brainiac in the fact that he is science gone wrong, technology gone wrong. He was created by Henry Pym to be a perfect AI system, artificial intelligence. But Ultron kind of then develops in his ideas that organics are imperfect and therefore must be destroyed. But it has this weird connection with Henry Pym, Hank Pym, seeing him as a father figure, and actually calls him father. And he spawns many copies of himself and makes, two robotic quote-unquote children, and to do his dirty work, one being the Vision and the other one being a member of the Runaways. And he's a huge threat because you can't actually really get rid of him. He always comes back in a new shape or form, rebuilds himself, makes copies of himself. And so really Ultron is the darkest part of Giant Man, Ant-Man, or Yellow Jacket, whatever you want to call him, darkest and most shameful invention, because he created him and he is such a big threat.
Number 6, the Red Skull.
The Red Skull. Now, this was Germany's attempt at making their own super soldier before they knew about Captain America. The Red Skull is really kind of a mastermind and evil, well, just generally evil. Now, the Red Skull in the Marvel Universe became the same equivalent as Captain America again. And the Red Skull has this evil demeanor. He wants world domination. He wants to be ruler, and he wants to just, how to put it, yeah, he just wants to take over the world and rule with an iron fist. And the really only person that stands in his way is Captain America. And in fact, actually, his most evil act to date has to be the fact that he uses Dr. Faust to brainwash Captain America's girlfriend and have her kill Captain America. This is one of the very few times in comic book history, I truly believe, where an arch nemesis of a superhero actually does what he always wants, and that's killing his rival. And I have to say, that's pretty impressive. But the other thing is the Red Skull is just so underutilized, I feel like, in the Marvel Universe. I mean, I can't really think of very many storylines in which the Red Skull really is the biggest threat and whatnot. I mean, I know there are them, and right now I can't think off the top of my head one, but nevertheless, I mean, the Red Skull is a pretty significant threat, and I think he deserves a lot more to respect, a lot more comic time than he really gets.
Number 5, Megatron.
Alright, I know. Transformer fan, you know, you're probably think I'm a little biased and whatnot, and you're also, some of my newer, or my younger viewers are probably thinking, but isn't he part of the IDW continuity? Well, yes, he is, but originally, the Transformers was owned by Marvel. And Megatron is just one of these villains. He's really well known for, you know, in his cartoon debut and being kind of, you know, hacky villain, but in the comic books, I mean, he's the driving force behind the Cybertronian War. I mean, in the first issue, he's the one who is plotting and planning to start the war, or start the war again, however you look at it. Megatron also is just dastardly. I mean, he does things that he kills a lot of Autobots and tortures a lot of Autobots. I mean, his comic book persona is completely different than from his original cartoon persona. It's along the same lines as IDW, but it's a little different. There's a little bit more to the guy. And to be quite honest, you know, being a Transformer fan, and the fact that in the Marvel comic book continuity, he was a threat. He really was a threat. So I really have to throw him in here because he's a good villain.